This is Greta Thunberg. Greta Thunberg, we love her. She is a Swedish activist, mostly known for doing climate activism, and also right now doing activism around Palestine and the genocide. Most of you probably remember her with signs like this, where she would do climate actions and she would have sit-ins kind of every single day, doing climate activism, and really cared about the climate and was at the UN doing speeches and did like a whole tour of America pretty much, where she came here and she was like a media darling, and like everybody and their mother wanted to have her on their shows, from Democracy Now! To mainstream news. And she would even, go and have like a sit down or something with the president, I think at the time Obama, and it was like a whole thing. It was like a whole thing, and we love her. We absolutely love her. Now, at the time, and this is no fault of Greta's at all, this is just the media being the media. But at the time, there was a lot of climate activism going on, and there was a lot of like climate marches and everything. And I called out the media, and I called out the government, and I called out everybody, because I was like, listen here, government, listen here, media. I love Greta, so this is not against her. But it's funny that you guys are interviewing Greta all the time because you see a little white girl and you're like, let's get on her, right? But there are all these black and brown and indigenous climate activists who are out here in the streets 24/7 living this life because these impact their communities. And I'm not saying it doesn't impact, everybody's community, because it's a global issue. But I'm just saying, who does this impact more? Black, brown, indigenous people, or someone like Greta? And this, again, is nothing to do with Greta. But it just has to do with the fact that y'all saw a little white girl and you ran with her and you interviewed her and you put her on your stages and you put her on your television shows and your morning shows and your whatever. And you are so gung-ho for Greta, and you just thought she was the next coming of the savior of the world, right? But the minute that Greta took the opportunity to basically connect the climate movement and the movement to help, the earth, and combine that with what was going on in Palestine and a lot of other genocides going on in the world, you guys dropped her like a bad hat, because you didn't want to have her on your stages talking about genocide. And it's really interesting to me, because it's like, one minute she's your media darling, she's your little white girl media darling, even though there are black and brown indigenous climate activists doing this work every single day who are impacted probably more, because it's impacting black, brown, indigenous communities more, the climate is. But then the minute that she decides, well, I'm actually going to talk about some brown people, and I'm actually going to talk about how this climate thing and this genocide thing kind of go hand in hand, because the more that we bomb people, the more that we put toxic chemicals into the earth trying to obliterate people, it pretty much destroys the earth, which is making the climate worse. And so then the work that I do as a climate activist and all of this going on, they go hand in hand, because we're basically destroying our own earth by trying to destroy people. You guys said, no. We do not want to have you on our stages anymore, because now you're on enemy lines. You're on enemy lines. Because if you were talking about the climate and standing up for Israel, they would have you on their stages in a heartbeat. But because you're a smart, intelligent, and beautiful young lady who actually stands up for the people, the climate, the earth, we love you, and we always have. And ever since I first saw one of your videos, I think it was maybe at the UN, and I remember you said this really impassioned speech about the earth, and you just started crying and about how when you feel the earth basically being, subjugated to all this harm and everything, it just makes you feel so heavy inside and all of these things. I felt you because honestly, I've always felt that way, especially as a kid. I've always been very connected to the earth in that way. And so when the earth is suffering, I also feel it, also as an empath and also as a very spiritual person. Um, Not just being Black and Indigenous, but just in general, like being a very empathic and spiritual person. Um, I also feel it, like when the earth is being harmed, I feel it and it hurts so bad inside. And so hearing you say that made me really want to stand with you. And now knowing that you're taking this climate thing up a notch and supporting, those going through genocide is beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful the way you stand up for them. And I've always loved you and I always will. And I'm always going to be on your side. And I just think you're a great young activist who deserves all the props. And yeah, I just think what you're doing is great. And you could be doing anything else with your life. Young people are always doing lots of different things with their lives. But you decided from a young age to care about the earth and to care about the people. And that's just beautiful to watch. So thank you for all that you do, Greta. We love you. And yeah, keep fighting the good fight.